Welcome to Church Life, where faith meets everyday life. I'm John.
I'm Ed.
And each week we're diving into real conversations, biblical truths, and stories of how God is moving in our world today. Whether you're walking in strong in your faith or just exploring, this is a space for you. So grab some coffee, open your heart, and let's grow together, because this is Church Life. Today we're going to actually touch a topic that, to be honest, Ed, I think we probably might have to split this up, because, I mean, it's a pretty big topic.
It is. There's a lot to it. The more we talk it out, texting, calling, talking to each other about it, it just seems like more and more unfolds. And that's how study and reflection should be. So I'm excited. Yeah, so I'll let you tell them what it's about.
Oh, I'm so giddy. I've actually been excited to do this probably for a week now. He's trying to keep me tame here, but I want to talk about jealousy and envy. Like, have you ever felt behind in life because someone else's success? Have you been envy of something that somebody else has that you didn't have? Or you were so envy or jealous of somebody's success that you couldn't be happy for them? Maybe like a job promotion or something, a new house, or a raise, or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say, some people say get over it, like if you have depression, and so, of course there's clinical depression and anxieties, and some people have anger issues, or like get over it. You have to be taught and coached how to get out of it. Jealousy, I believe, is another one of those things that attach themselves to you that you've heard it said before, they're a jealous person. Mm-hmm. And it's not easy to overcome, because what we call jealousy, could be a broad stroke of the paintbrush, you could say. There's a lot of ways to look at it. And so we'll look at some today. But have I been jealous before or envious before? I don't know if it's to the point of sin, probably many times. But yeah, a lot of times you hope for better, you wish for better.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how'd they get that? And I didn't get that.
Yeah. Jealousy, like it basically, like how I feel, is the fear of losing what you already have, where envy is more wanting what someone else has. Kind of like envy is more about comparison. Jealousy is more about possession.
Yeah. I think that's probably a bigger topic than it has ever been in history, due to social media, YouTube, etc., just television within itself. In the early 50s or whenever television came out, they showed these perfect families. Dad would come home neat, just like he just left for work, and that wasn't a reality in that time.
I come home just as neat as when I left.
That's true. I've seen that many times.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, here we go. We're already going to start with lies. Now, this is over jealous and envious.
Yeah, lies is later on down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's so simple that we all get caught up in it. And you don't know how, like, I'm bad about, like, I can actually manipulate it enough in my own mind to believe it, or, to believe the fact of what I've constructed myself, as far as, say, you see somebody on TV that, is successful and they've been doing, all this stuff to gain it. And you're like, why can't I have something like this? Or, or maybe if I'd done this, I could have, more money, or, because a lot of it's all about money. I mean, to be honest, everybody wants to live the high and mighty life, but that's not fact.
Yeah. So being jealous for something that's not real, that happens a lot, like you said, on television and things, but when the cameras are off, they may be fighting and squabbling. And so things are not always like they appear to be. So sometimes we're jealous over things that really don't merit our attention. Yeah.
No, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, you don't know their struggle. You know what I'm saying? All we see is what's on the outside. We don't know what they're dealing with. We don't know how well they're hiding it. But yet we're envy enough that, we don't know why we can't have it. But really, do you want it? Why can't we be happy with what we do have, thankful for what we do have?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, why am I envy of, let's say a job or a pay increase? Why can't I be thankful for the job that I have and the pay that I get to have? And I hate to say it all about jobs and stuff, but I mean, that's where a lot of it's more relatable than anything, as far as work, because everybody wants an easy way out, I guess you'd say, and when they see somebody that they think has an easy way out, do they really, yeah, they've got nice stuff, but do we see all the overhead that they've got?
No. And I guess another question would be, why can't we be happy for them?
Yes.
And sometimes we want to demonize people,
yes,
to belittle them, to where we want to make their success seem like an unworthy thing. They didn't deserve it. They did this or that to get it. And so if we can't be happy for them, we sure will by nature demonize them just to make ourselves feel better. And so we become part of the system, the jealous system, when we do that.
Like James 3:16, envy leads to disorder and opens the door to sin. That just kills contentment, leads to bitterness, erodes trust in God's plan. I mean, you lay it out there. It's like I said, it's all, if you look at it, it's all failure. There's nothing good of it. I'll tell you what I used to do, and I used to be bad about it. At work, whenever I would see, let's say, another department, to me, it looked like they weren't doing anything. That's what it looked like to me. But I was working my hiney off, sweating and all this manual labor. And I'm like, I wish I could be like them and sit down there and not do nothing. Well, over the years, the roles have changed and I actually do their job now. And there's a lot that I didn't see, the reason why they were down there. All I saw was trucks parked and nothing going on, but really I didn't know they was inside, working their patootie off, I guess you'd say. You don't know what's going on before you start making these accusations and assumptions,
Yeah. And when you get into a, not necessarily corrupt setting like that, but a setting to where everybody is assuming this and that about one another. The scripture really lays it out where jealousy and self-ambition exist, there will be disorder. So we all have worked on toxic job sites or factories or whatever to where good work was not rewarded. And so it's easy to get caught up in that. It's hard to put the blinders on and do your work. And so I guess as a Christian, we really got to strip it down to identifying this as a spiritual problem and look at Scripture, how to correct it.
Romans 12:15, rejoice in those who rejoice. Make that encouragement, as a daily thing. And I'll say this about you, is whenever we used to work together and I would see that and I would get so mad. I actually tried to get you riled up about it, but it never fazed you. And then I would think, hey, why does that not upset you? And basically you told me it doesn't matter. Honestly, I was dwelling in something that there was nothing I had control over, but it was deep in my heart. And the best thing you could have ever said was, it don't matter. Why worry with it? I mean, great advice to me. I mean, and we could all take that, Why be upset about it? Hey, my friend just got a raise and I didn't. Hey, man, that's congratulations. Hey, I'm glad you did. You deserve it. Even if you didn't deserve it, you deserve it.
Yeah, because maybe he or she gave their best effort, and we only seen like 5% of the day and not the other 95, and so it's easy to judge people on the part that we see, but we may not see their sacrifice. And yeah, so we should get behind them and rejoice with those who rejoice, and those that are going through difficult times, be compassionate with them as well. So my wife asks me sometimes, are you jealous? Maybe I should be more jealous. I don't know what she means by that question. What do you think she means by that question?
I mean, like, do you feel less than when somebody else is winning? When somebody else is holding the goat. Okay, let's say we got a guest pastor.
You say the goat?
I don't know. It could be a goat.
Okay.
I think I said gold. But let's say we have a guest pastor.
Yes.
And this guy or woman goes up and gives the message of a lifetime.
It's awesome.
And has people just pouring at the altar.
Yes.
Just devoting. Would that make you jealous or envious whenever you're up there and not have the same reaction? Or could you look past it and be happy of the situation that's going on?
It depends what kind of mood I'm in.
That's a true answer. But I mean, honestly, that's a situation probably that some pastors have. They don't want to let other people up into the pulpit because they're scared they're going to be outperformed. They're envious or jealous of the possibilities.
Sure.
To be outshone, I guess.
Sure, absolutely. And, speaking on that, you want people to do well. So if you give them the opportunity, you want them to succeed. You want them to feel like they've done better than they ever have done before in their life. And you want them to have that experience. And I say that because the ones that have went before me, they gave me those opportunities and they allowed me to be whatever God had called me to be, and they encouraged me to even be more. And my pastor was great about that. And he had many pastors come up underneath of him. And one thing he taught me early was I really got corrected by him verbally. And it was a jealous moment. And I said something, and he's like, I'm going to tell you something right now. He said, if you're going to have jealousy, you're not going to make it very far in ministry. And that was 30-something years ago. And I still feel the heat from that rebuke, that if jealousy is going to be in you about your fellow brothers and things, you're not going to go very far, is what he taught me.
And I guess that's something that whenever you probably feel that, down in your stomach and stuff, you can look back and think, okay, all right, stop. What am I thinking here? And I had a boss one time that told me that, he said, I want you to have my job. Your goal is to take my job. I'm not saying from me, but to take my job, and my job is to prepare you to take my job. The same thing in the church,
Sure.
We're not here to steal the spotlight or be the best Christian or be the best church member. We're here to mold the youth and to grow ourselves, So if we're envious of somebody else that's here in church of how well they pray, and Lord knows I need that because that's where I struggle, but we can't hold them back or condemn them just because.
No, we need to get behind them, and we need to have enough. When you have jealousy, it boils down to one of the indicators is a lack of confidence in yourself, your self-worth. And so it really stems from that. Because when you're confident, you're not jealous. And when you feel secure and safe, you don't feel intimidated by others. And that goes with your job skills, your spiritual life, your marriage life. We should have confidence.
Yeah. Hey, pray through the envy. God can handle the honesty. Ask him to renew your heart and mindset. Now, put it on him. Have guidance from him. Don't take it into your own hands and be self-destructive.
Oh, yeah. So here, you sent me this Bible verse. I'm not sure what version it is.
Oh, it's probably, it might be
the JIV?
Ed's reading version.
The John Nearly inspired version? Okay.
It might be the kids version, the easy reader.
It is. It has pictures. It says, tell us, anger is cruel. And we know that jail cells are filled with people with anger, anxieties. Wrath is like a flood. It's like an uncontrolled anger. It just comes out. But it says, but jealousy is even more dangerous. I don't get it. That jealousy is a hidden envy that nobody sees, but only the person that has it, they know that it's there. They sense it. They feel it. They judge people. But it says that jealousy is a more dangerous thing in our life than anger and even wrath.
To me, I feel like that it really just depends, on this, I wouldn't put it in stages, but on the degree of your jealousy.
Sure.
Is it past to where you're like mentally like hurting people? Because it could get to that, verbal abuse. Even probably to physical. If you let it get that far, I guess that would turn it into wrath, probably, wouldn't it? If it got physical or actually outspoken verbally, when you was trying to demeanor somebody and
Sure.
and put them down to your level, trying to, I guess, in your mind, putting them down to your level because you hold them higher than what you feel that they should be.
Jealousy.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, jealousy never stops. You see anger, you see wrath comes in like a flood, and we know floods, they descend as quick as they came normally. But jealousy, it is a perpetual thing that has to really be eradicated. And we know that in heaven that jealousy began with Satan. He was envious because he wanted to praise instead of God. And he's jealous of humanity, that we have a relationship with God. So in spiritual warfare, jealousy is the root of all spiritual divide. Satan was jealous of the praise that God was receiving. He felt as if he was beautiful and that he should receive praise. So his jealousy of that praise cost him heaven. Also now, he fights against the believer because he's jealous that we can have a relationship with God through Christ. And so jealousy, it is very dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Saul, he was jealous of David because of his popularity and stuff, that he actually tried to destroy him.
Yeah.
Because, and that's how envy kind of leads to sin.
Yeah. And Saul really, if Saul would have looked at his life instead of looking at David's life, he would not have been so angry. He may have had a chance to turn things around. But because of his sins and disobedience, God chose David and promoted him, and Saul could not get his eyes and mind off of David for no reason. He hated him. He tried to kill him.
We're already going into this, and I don't want to make this one too long because I don't want to lose anybody. But this is something else that we might touch base again next week. So, I mean, don't be surprised if this is almost a repeat, because there is so much, that we could cover that, just leads to jealousy and envy. I mean, nowadays in the church setting, you see, and myself, you see jealousy and envy of other churches by their outreach success.
Oh yeah.
Or
let's not talk about that.
It's touchy. But it's real life.
It is.
And it's hard not to be, and it's easy to just throw it in the towel. I'll never get that kind of success. We're not going to be able to pull that kind of crowd back in here. And just give up and dwell on it.
Well, why do we waste our life trying to be like somebody else?
Exactly.
I mean, why?
Exactly.
Who's got time for that?
Yeah, who's got time for that?
That's right.
I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
But that's the truth. I mean, where you're comparing yourself to somebody else.
Yeah.
And you're not that somebody else.
You're better looking, smarter.
Well, thank you.
Funnier.
I don't know if that was meant for me, but I mean,
yeah, it's for you. It's for you. Well, if I had a thought to close on, if we're going to continue next week.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like me personally, I feel like we need to continue this.
Here's a thought. Jealousy is bad. It is horrible. It's worse than anger. It's worse than wrath. It's more dangerous. However, with this question left on the table, God said he is a jealous God. So maybe we'll talk about the good type of jealousy next week.
If there's anything that we could do this week, let's try to celebrate one person publicly. Let's show everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, and make it think, and that'll show you that it's not so hard, and only good things come from good.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we'll continue this topic again next week. But for now, this is church life, and then keep the faith,
share the hope,
and live the church life. Later, y'all.
See ya.